Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome back to Let's Talk Health and Wellness with Nitra. Today, I have the pleasure of having here in the studio Dr. Ja. She is a medical provider. Welcome, Dr. Ja. How are you today?
I am doing wonderful. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you for being here. So let's go ahead and dive right on in and let's connect the dots, shall we?
We shall.
All right. And we're going to connect the dots talking about emotional, right?
Yes,
Spiritual
yes, and physical.
and physical.
So we're going to go ahead and let you all know how to stay in alignment.
All right. All right. Let's get started.
Okay.
All right.
So let's start talking about the physical. When you talk about physical wellness, we already know that you're supposed to eat healthy, exercise, make sure that you're not taking in anything that's not good for the body. And
Right.
you just, keep all that into alignment and make sure that you're on point all the time. But it's not always about exercising.
Exactly.
It starts a little bit deeper than that,
Mm,
so it has an impact on your emotional.
it does.
So when we want to talk about the emotional wellness, your emotional wellness impacts your physical.
Yes, it
Okay.
does. I agree.
So if you're not feeling up to par and you stressed or you are feeling some kind of way or depressed, and it impacts your body and it also impacts your immune system. And when your immune system goes down, as we all know, then your body is open up to all types of organisms, germs, and all that. So that's where illness starts forming.
Right.
So we want to focus on emotional wellness. And when I speak about emotional wellness, it gets a little tricky because it is something that vibes off energy. Okay.
Yes, definitely energy.
We often put that aside and, like, oh, I'm not worried about it. Your intuition is your gut feeling,
Yes.
But,
Yeah.
sometimes we think we know it all.
Oh, yes.
Okay,
certainly.
you know how it is. We know it all. Your gut can tell you no, but your mind gonna say, I'm gonna do it anyway.
Anyway,
You know what
right?
I'm saying? Then your body got to suffer for it, okay? So when I talk about emotional wellness, it goes with intuition, but there's also a term that I like to use, which is called intuitive ability.
Okay.
And intuitive ability vibes off your energy. And you got to be able to recognize that negative energy.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so because if you don't recognize it, then it's going to continue to come before you, and then it's still impacting. Remember, it's impacting your physical wellness. I want you to keep that in mind. It's
Yes.
impacting that.
Impacting your physical wellness.
So have you ever, think about it. We're out in an outing, just say me and you out in an outing, and, we talking, and there's a group of young ladies, a group of men or somewhere, and then you feel a certain vibe. There's something ain't right.
Yeah. I've
You
been
feel
there.
kind of off, you're like off
Yeah.
balance, but you don't quite know what it is.
Right.
That is intuitive ability. That's allowing you to recognize, oh, something ain't right. That
Something
energy
ain't
is
right.
not right. But you got to be able to manage that, and you got to be able to control that.
Okay.
And the first step of doing that is knowing how to recognize it. So I usually tell a lot of my patients and clients, you want to rub your hands for about 10, no, let's say 30 seconds. You rubbing it. Let's try it. Let's just rub it.
Let's just
Okay.
rub.
You're going to rub it about 30 seconds, some 10 or 20. It doesn't take long.
Right.
Rub it real, a rugged rub.
Right.
You keep rubbing it, just rubbing it. And then after that, for a little while, you want to kind of pull it away. But when you pull it away, you're going to feel some energy. If you feel that energy, then you are able to recognize this energy.
Okay.
Okay. So let's pull away a little bit.
Okay.
You feel it?
You do. Okay, I do
You feel it?
Yeah, I do
Okay,
feel
so
it.
now let's try to push it back in. You got some resistance.
Yeah, is that? Yeah, I do. I feel it.
That's your energy. That's your
Okay.
intuitive ability to recognize
Wow.
when something ain't right.
Wow.
So you want to keep that in your pocket, because when
Okay.
you're trying to make sure that everything is in alignment, that's a main thing. Because emotion, if you're not emotional up to par, it's going to impact your physical.
Is it? Okay, I agree.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
You
Makes
agree?
sense.
A lot of us, it is true that sometimes we cause illness upon ourselves because of emotion. We own this emotional roller coaster. We all been challenged with trauma,
Okay, right. I agree. Yeah.
and we haven't been healed. So then we're figuring out, well, why I'm getting these headaches? Why I got this ulcer? You know what I'm saying? It's because your emotional wellness is off track. So you got to think about that. So then I said, okay, I don't connect the dots with my physical, emotional. No, I got to get in line. You know,
Get in line, yes.
we gotta say, we just got to recognize, say, hey, let's just stop a little bit, But then there's spiritual. And when you speak of spiritual, you have to be very cautious about that, because I don't like to start talking about religion.
Okay.
The spiritual connectivity that I'm talking about is being able to have peace and harmony within.
And that's very important.
Yes.
That is very important, just to,
You got to have it, because if you don't have it within, then whatever you have within is going to come out. That's why you see a lot of people around here jealous, mad, upset for no reason. So with that spiritual connectivity, if you got peace and harmony within, then you're able to forgive people.
And that's important.
Right.
You have to, you have to forgive.
You got to forgive.
It's a process, but you need to forgive.
It's definitely a process, so it's you got to be able to forgive. You can't be so judgmental.
Right.
Who are you to judge? Who am I to judge?
I agree.
So once you control that, it allows you to decrease your emotional wellness, which is your depression, your anxiety, frustration. And then it also goes back to your physical. So if I got my spiritual connectivity on par, and I got my emotional wellness up to par, like I'm rocking and rolling now.
You rocking and rolling.
I'm rocking and rolling. So now I got this physical stuff going on. And it allows me to know the reason why I got some of my physical illness, and I can speak on myself because of the trauma that I went through, is because I wasn't able to cope with what I went through.
You're right. So how did you cope with yours?
Ooh, that journey right there, it took me years. And I'm going to be honest, writing books helped me.
So that was very therapeutic for you.
It was therapeutic. Like my book, Highway to Heaven, it allowed me to pour out some stuff that I had been hiding, blocking, and didn't even want to think about.
Okay.
I can recall one of the chapters in my book is Sleeping with the Enemy.
Wow.
Okay. And trust and believe, through that chapter, it was hard for me to write that because I had to go back and replay everything that happened to me doing that. The abuse, the verbal abuse, just the betrayal, depression. Feel like giving up, even suicidal thoughts.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When you're going through stuff. And all that, well, people don't realize that trauma impacts your physical.
Yeah. Because you can feel it in your gut.
You
can feel it in your gut. I've been there. So I get what you're saying. And I didn't realize that that's what it was up until now, I get it. Yeah. But I didn't understand, because you feel it. Why am I having this weird feeling here in my gut?
Right.
And then you carry all of that. You just keep, if you don't channel your emotions and be able to deal with it, like you said, it's going to fall into your physical.
Right.
And in your health.
Right.
Right.
Because you think about it. When your emotional wellness is off, you're frustrated, you upset, anxiety, that puts a strain on your heart. So then that's where you got your heart conditions coming in, Right. People done traumatize you so much until you just can't take it no more. Even with diabetes, we can go there with diabetes. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because it works hand in hand.
Hand in hand.
Your blood pressure and your blood sugar goes up, both. So if your blood pressure going up because you mad, or you frustrated, or you can't cope with some things in life, all that impacts your physical well-being. And then it's impacting your organs. There's a book that I usually read, and it shows you different ways to heal your different organs in your body through the energy.
Oh.
So your energy and what you vibe off of really plays an important role in your physical well-being. So we talk about mental health. Mental health and physical and spiritual all goes together.
Hand in hand.
Hand in hand.
Hand in hand.
If you connect them dots, you're good. That's the formula, connecting the dots. But you got to be willing to accept every element that's in that, under that. You can't sit here and say, okay, I'm all right with the emotional, Okay, I can handle the physical, but then you over here with the spiritual part, you mad. You judging people.
Right.
You upset. You can't forgive somebody that really hurt you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So you still off balance. What you think gonna happen?
Yeah, at some point you're gonna fall
You
because
gonna
it's
fall.
not. It's no back. You said it's no balance, so
No
you're gonna fall.
So
At some
I just really believe in your emotional well-being. I know we talk about the physical where they want to. I'm a provider. I'm gonna be honest. You're gonna write prescriptions.
Right.
You're gonna give them a little medicine. But I usually try to make sure that I can help you prior to doing that.
Right.
I'm really a naturalist. If I can help you without giving you a whole list of medications, that's what I believe in.
And I like that because, I've worked, myself as well, with different, providers, and just me working in the laboratory and running, different tests. I've seen that you try to treat one thing, and then like you said, that's what they do. They'll give them write them a prescription, but you still have to get down to the root of what's really going on.
Exactly.
That medication is just,
it's just
right.
temporary.
Temporarily, right.
I have to be honest. It's temporary. They always talk about there's no cure for cancer. Let's be honest. Right. When you're just talking about illness per se,
right.
You're just masking it with medication. Right. If you think about it. And like you said, we haven't even got to the root of the problem. Why are you so stressed? Why you got your blood pressure going up? Then why you over here got to go to the cardiologist next week?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So we got to see, let's handle that stress issue. If it's not for you and if you can handle it and you can manage it, then you do that. But if it's beyond your control, it's going to put you on a whole nother roller coaster of emotional wellness.
Right, because you treat one thing and then now you have another issue.
Another one.
Another issue, right.
Another one, and another one. But remember that harmony and peace within, it's the foundation. And you got to recognize that energy. Keep that negative energy, that doubt, your intuition. There's a reason why there's a gut feeling.
Wow.
I've heard conversations, they want to just go off their intuition. Why they want to go off their intuition is that ain't really real. Your gut is a part of you. Your gut is your organs. If something is wrong with you, then something going to be feeling funny inside of you.
Right.
So I just really believe that you got to work. You got to connect the dots.
Right. And you got to put the work in. But it's almost as if, how do you do that? Because we can do it. I can go ahead and to a certain degree, because of course, nobody's perfect. I'm not perfect.
Right.
And like you said, I have had to work through some of my things, which I'm still with grief. Which I talk about all the time, losing my mother first, then losing my mother, then I lost my twins. I had 2 twin babies that I actually delivered. And then I lost my father, losing him. So you think you have it, and you think, and everybody channel things differently. I know for me, it's staying busy.
Right.
I stay busy. I'm constantly on the move. And so that I don't think about it. Is that the right way? No, it's not. Because at some point, like we said, it's going to hit,
right.
And so I do that, and I also associate dates with everything from that has happened, from when my mom passed, right? From the day my twins passed, losing my mother. I lost my mother on my father's birthday, which is March the 17th, St. Patrick's Day. And then my dad passed on, 8 days after my mother's birthday, which is January the 18th. My mother's birthday was January the 10th. So associating them dates, and it's something that you do. You have to work on that inner.
Right.
The inner part. And so, and I'm still working, I'm still working on it, because the keeping the busy thing, it only goes for so long.
Exactly. And then you be like, what am I doing?
Right.
And I'm like you. They call me a workaholic. I was just working. I was just doing this and doing that because I didn't even want to think about what I went
Right.
through. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even, more or less, to be honest, I was embarrassed. You think about it because I like, people are so quick to say, well, why did you stay there? Why did you just do
Right.
that? Why did it's not the why, it's how did I get out?
Right.
I finally made a way. I could have just stayed there and still be in, I call it hell. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But it made me who I am today. So, like you said, we know what we need to do, but we don't know how
How
to
to do
do
it.
it. You
Right.
know? But the problem is I feel like people in general are skeptical about how to do anything nowadays because
Right.
the internet got you thinking this, the society got you want you
Right.
that way. So people are skeptical on all levels. But you got to realize at some point there's a foundation to everything.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a foundation, and you got to be willing. We got people, we got suicide going on.
Yes.
We got all kind of stuff going on in the world, drug addictions,
Yeah.
everything, and they're always talking about what we can do better. Well, we had to find a way to connect with them because those individuals are hurting.
Yes. Yes.
It's a lot of us hurting, and we masking it with things
With a smile.
with a smile.
With a smile, and you have no, and then like you were speaking before on people being envious, right? You
Yeah,
was talking about that. But my thing is with that, people are that way, but you have no idea what it takes to walk in these heels, these shoes. You have no idea that the things that I have been through, you only see the
the
outer,
outer
the outer layer, right?
right.
So,
But guess what? While they're doing all that, the jealousy and the envy, guess what? They're messing with their spirit to connect, causing them to be emotional imbalance.
right.
And eventually, I hate to say it, something gonna go on with the body. But you don't realize it because you out here keeping up mess. You're
Right.
not thinking about the consequences that you're putting on yourself. Because when people are doing that, they think they're hurting you, but they're really hurting
It
themselves.
takes too much energy.
That's
It's too much energy. Too much.
your
All of
energy.
that is just. It takes too much to be that way.
Right.
You know.
But it goes back to not understanding that connecting the dots is so
Right.
important. You can mask your physical condition with medication. You can mask your emotional wellness with pretending to be something.
Right.
Okay,
You
you're
pretend.
gonna have that big mask on, and your spirit to connect. They don't even want to talk about that no more because they think it's religion.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So when you say anything about spiritual, people quick to be like withdraw, but it's deeper than that. Do you really know what peace is? Do you know how to present harmony? When you walk in a room, people should be able to see if you're peaceful. They should be able to feel if you got a good spirit.
Right.
And if that goes off that energy, I vibe off energy all day long. When I just met you, I'm like, oh yeah, that energy,
Yes.
that connection is on point. I
Thank you.
feel your energy, and it's all good, it's positive. But when I'm in a room and I feel something with someone, I have to dismiss myself because I know it impacts my well-being. And that's
that's
what people got to realize. Recognize that energy. I don't care if they may think you're crazy sitting up there with your hand rubbing your hands. They may think you're crazy, but at the end of the day, it's going to tell you, oh, girl, you got to get up and go because something is not right up in here. So I vibe off that all day long. I'm always doing on the internet, doing engagements and stuff like that. And I believe in helping people. But if I get a wink of any energy that's not right, you ain't got to worry about me. Protect your peace.
And it's not selfish to do that.
No,
Not at all.
no,
Right.
no. At one point, they had all this up about, oh, the self-love. People were talking negative about the self-love. Why you do self-love? That's just selfish. You got to have the selfish love for yourself, for your mind, body, and soul has to be in line. That's called selfish love to keep them in alignment. There's nothing wrong with
Nothing
that.
wrong with that.
I'm,
Yeah.
I'm I got selfish love.
Yeah. And I'm getting there. I'm learning. I'm learning, to have that selfish
You
love
have to.
because, you pour here, you pour there, and you try to be there, for everybody else. And then like you said, you're empty.
You're
You're
empty.
empty and you're going through but you still smile.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you try to mask, but deep down inside, like you said, at some point, it's going to all fall off.
It's awful.
And so you definitely have to, you know, and speaking of, like you said, diabetes and all these different
Mm-hmm.
things, you know, and I've been blessed so far not to have a lot of those things that actually, you know, within my
Right.
family, you know.
Right.
But looking back, like you said, stress, high
Mm-hmm.
blood pressure, I look at a lot of those things that,
That
you know,
caused
that
it.
cause, and that's what they all
Right.
when, you know, working a lot, you know, I mean,
Trying to
working,
make it.
trying to make it, you
Mm-hmm.
know, high pressure, high blood pressure high, you know, and I get it. I
Yes,
get it.
it's so
Yeah.
important. So you have to find ways to cope.
Right.
You have to have a coping mechanism that works for you,
That works for
because it
you.
doesn't. Everybody's coping mechanism
It's not going to
doesn't
be the
connect,
same, right?
and you have to be able to manage it. If you can manage it, we're going to continue to have challenges. That's
Yes.
just life.
Right.
But you got to be able to manage it. Okay, you know, you got some issues today. Okay, we got a situation. But like that song said, trouble don't last always. We're going to manage it. We're going to go through it, and we're going to manage it, because you have to learn that your body requires you to do that. It requires you to take care of you. It's your peace. Your body is your temple, so you got to protect it. And anytime it's kind of off balance and whatever's trying to come in, you got to get rid of it.
Okay.
Protect your peace, because your body is your temple.
Your body is your temple.
And that mind, girl, you got to definitely protect your mind, because it'll have you thinking all kind of stuff. And that's why the suicide rates are so high. And that's why you got people are so quick to label schizo, bipolar. They mask that with a title so they can give medication. But you got to still find out the core problem of it. Why did it happen? Why was it a chemical imbalance? Is it really a chemical imbalance? Think about it. Maybe they acting out.
Right.
So you got to think about it.
Right. You got to think about it. And, you know, that makes sense, because I'm looking at, like you said, they put a title on that all the time, you know, and then the issue, medication, even for children.
Yeah.
Right. And then you're like, okay, they gave you this profile that the child has these issues. And then, you know, some parents recognize it and they'll go ahead and get them the help that they need. And then some, they don't. And then later on, you hear other stuff may happen, you know, because they said they didn't get the help that they need. And they probably too was holding on to all those things that they were going through and just never reached out. They didn't know how to reach out. Right.
And then also a sense of embarrassment, because people are so quick to judge.
Yeah.
You know how your mom or your dad tell you what goes on in this house stays in this house. You know, so we're not gonna go out and ask for help. We're not gonna talk about it.
Right.
You know, in our community, let's just be honest. Mental health is swept on the rug.
Right.
You know, they think that, oh, he's just acting out, or he don't really care. You know, they just sweep it on the rug. Oh, he just need to be punished. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But there's a reason why mental health is swept on the rug, because of the fact that we don't want to accept it. It's okay if you got issues with mental health. It can be managed and coped with, but we keep pushing it aside.
Right.
And eventually our community is just going to be gone, because we're not addressing our issues.
Right.
Stop trying to live the life of others and let's take care of our own.
I agree. You know, I can remember it was a employee that called out of work one day, and that was the message that she left on the voicemail. Her reason for not coming, that she was taking a mental health day. So, you know, you had some other people kind of, you know, they thought it was funny, because they never heard anybody call out saying they were taking a mental health day.
Right.
And, you know, and she really did. She was really going, I knew personally that, you know, because of some things that she shared with me, she was really going through it. Some things that she was a single parent and she had a lot of stuff going on. So she really needed that time. But I told, this is really a thing. This is not the time. And, you know, the last few episodes we've been talking about mental health, and I just feel like it's so important because it's so many things, like you stated, that are going on out there right now. So many people that are suicidal. They feel like they have no way out, nobody to talk to. And it's so important
Right.
to let people know it's okay.
Right.
Like you said, it's okay.
It's okay. And look, if we address it and we stick together as a community, we're going to be okay.
Right.
You know, who are we to point a finger? I would rather help someone that having mental issues than to sit there and just let them be out there on the street somewhere, or let them be suffering and we're up here looking at them, you know?
Right.
So, you know, we always think about, let's just be real. If we all came together in our community and really helped each other like we should, and have that real, true brother-sister love that's supposed to be so prominent that you should have, then things it would be better. We can actually help people without having to go out here and act crazy. You know, you gotta beg somebody to do something for someone. You can't even get people to buy someone some groceries or something without them being judgmental or you know, making fun of it. I've seen a lot of people just with mental health issues. All they need is someone to talk to.
Yeah, that's all they need. Yeah.
You know, there's a reason for them acting the way they're acting.
Right. And you just don't know because, you know, I do a lot in the community, you know, a lot of community service, and we come across people all the time that are going through so many different things.
Right.
And they're so thankful and grateful. You know, we help them with food, whatever resources we can provide. And a lot of times, you know, we do that. But then, like you said, getting to that mental part, like, you know, they still need help. Because, you know, we're helping them here, providing them with food or even housing, you know, but they still need
that inner that mind,
their
heart. They need it. They need it. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think we talk enough about it. I think we just kind of like just keep going through the motion. You know, just in here, just doing things. And I think that we should recognize it, and we should be able to talk about it without people being so judgmental. Stop pointing the finger at people. Why not help them? You know, I mean, and it goes back to when you talk about mental health, it's emotional wellness. They may be stressed to death, you know, depressed.
Right.
You know, things in life. Life itself will make you depressed.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. Because, again, like I come, you know, in contact with so many people because of what we do. And so, oh, my goodness, I can go on and on. You know, again, we had another gentleman, you know, they were making fun, you know, at him at work. And what they didn't know, again, I knew because I had been helping this individual, providing him, helping him with food and so forth. He was living in his truck. Again, reason he had many years ago, he had a house fire. In the midst of that, he lost everything, and he lost his wife as well. So he had never been able to recoup from that, right? And so this is how he's been living, in his truck. And so one day they went to his vehicle to go and get him because he was on his lunch break, and they didn't know that he had been, you know. And she said, you know, I've seen all this stuff. You know, I don't know what he has going on in his vehicle. I knew, but of course, I'm not going to say, you know, I'm not going to do that, you know. And I looked and I just like, you know, we can't make fun. Like, that's not okay.
Right.
That is not okay.
Right.
And, you know, he even came to me, you know, he was also battling, he had found out he had cancer. On top of that, he shared with me, you know, some things. So I get it. We never know. I always say you can do one or two things, push a person over the edge or pull them back. We just don't know what a person is really going through.
Exactly.
You know.
And when you spoke about cancer, and just from the medical part, usually cancer, you know, is impacted by your organs, which what goes back to why. You know, when your immune system is down, are you stressed?
Right.
You know, he's been through that. I know he's stressed and depressed. And you know, he's still trying to find his way. And then to find out that you got that, and you know, when you hear the big C word, that takes you over.
Right.
It just puts you on a whole nother level of depression.
Yes.
You know, so I just think that we need to recognize it more. Let's just be cautious. Don't be so quick to judge people.
Yes.
Just when they're going through something, just sit back, and if you don't have anything to say or do, leave them alone. But just find out why.
Right.
You know, and be more caring. We have Some of us lost the concept of compassion.
Oh, I agree.
That
I agree.
I don't even get how you can't.
Yeah.
How can you sleep at night?
Right.
Let's just be real. So just when you see people in general and they're going through something, it's not going to hurt you. It's not going to cause you anything
Right.
but a little time that is not yours anyway.
Right.
Okay, just to
Exactly.
see how you can help a person.
Right.
You know, we're so caught up. It's sad. We're so caught up that we think that we are running time. We think that we control everything. You know,
Yeah,
oh, I
absolutely.
ain't worried about it. I'm 20 years from now, I'm gonna do this and do that. You know, they're so caught up in society when you got people that's hurting.
Yes.
You know, I see it all the time on social media through posts and everything. People just hurting. And, you know, you look at the posts and the comments, and people like, well, you know, I'm like, where's the compassion?
Right. Right.
Why not say, hey, how can I help you? What is it that I can do?
Exactly. Because they're reaching out. Obviously, they're trying to
Yeah,
get
they
help.
put it on social media for a reason, you know? So I just think that our physical health is declining because of the factors that's presented before them.
Mm.
And we have to be able to address it and recognize it for yourself and for the other person. Because if I can help one person every day, I'm at peace.
I love it.
You
Yes.
know, if I go out here, my purpose, I know my purpose is to provide. If I can help one person, I don't care how I help them, what I say or what I do, sometimes just listen to them, I'm at peace. Because I can remember my darkness.
Okay.
And that darkness impacted my whole life, you know. So I struggled. Nothing was ever easy for me. I struggled. That journey, all that verbal and abusive, I did all that. But if I had that one person I could talk to without me being embarrassed, I probably would have came at it earlier. But God said no, it's a journey. So here I am.
Here I am. That's right. You know, that one person, and it feels good when you're able to help.
Yes,
Like you say, I can lay down at night and know I've done something. I've helped
something.
somebody. You
Right.
know, I'm here warm. They out there cold. You know, I'm out there. Look, blankets, and that's what my organization. We do a lot
Okay.
with the Elite Dolls of Faith. You know, we do a lot in the community. So, and you know, I remember we went to. Have you ever heard of Tent City?
Mm-mm.
So it's Tent City.
Uh-huh.
These are people that are actually living outside in the woods.
Mm.
So keep in mind how cold,
Mm-hmm.
when it's really cold out.
Right.
They're living outside in the woods, even with children. They were out there. And so I remember we took and we passed out blankets. We took food, trying to help them with, whatever resources we can provide. And the lady just, she looked and she just kept saying, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I mean, even I remember they passed out coats, gave them coats and, hats and gloves. But the fact that, like you said, just showing that, having compassion and showing that you care, and again, people are so judgmental because, I've heard, well, if they there, why don't they just get a place? Why can't they move? Why can't... You don't know their situation.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Everybody's situation is different.
Right.
So they may not be able to afford that
Exactly.
right now. We don't know. But the fact of the matter is, most importantly, is that we're trying to help.
Right.
It's not for us to judge.
Right.
We just want to help.
And if you think about it, I was just thinking when you were talking about, you all were there giving blankets and, supporting them. Do you know most of those, by them being just happy to receive it, that increased their hope.
Yes.
They're feeling at least a little bit of peace. Just that moment, even if it's just that moment. And by them feeling at peace in that moment,
Right.
then they're able to say, hey, there is hope. I know it's much more out there.
Right.
And with that, the coats and protecting them from the coldness and the body itself, it all goes together. You provided spiritual connect because they saw that you are so forgiving and you're not judging. Then you provided emotional wellness because you were there. You gave them a sense of hope. You gave them a sense of feeling like somebody really cares about me. And then providing, actually giving them coats and stuff, you protecting them from the coldness to keep them from getting illness. So you did all three of those things by just being there and providing. And it didn't take much.
No, it does. It doesn't
See?
take much at all.
So you connect the dots. You connect the dots right there.
Yeah.
All three of them.
And you can just, anything is, anybody can do it.
Right.
Like you said, just having that compassion, you can even make blessing bags. We call them blessing bags. We keep them in our vehicles and you pass them out. And it can consist of toiletries. You can do a bag with some food items.
Right.
And pass,
Right.
just, again, and you'd be surprised, like you said, how they look and say, wow, somebody care.
Yeah.
Enough to even,
Right. Because with the emotional wellness part of it, they lost hope.
Hope, yes.
They're like, I don't know what's going to happen. They're already depressed. Their anxieties is up because they don't know what I'm going to do next.
Right.
How I'm going to get this next. But just the fact that you were there, you gave them hope. Just that. And if people would look at just a sense of giving,
yeah.
addresses all three, connecting
the dots. There it is.
That's
there you
it.
have it. Right.
And if we can practice that every day, all day, you'll see a whole lot of change in people itself.
Right.
People act out and do crazy stuff and be jealous because they're going through something.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that makes sense.
They're masking. They're trying to mask it and try to make it look like it's all about you when deep down they're hurting.
And it's all about them.
They're acting out. I'm so tired of your masquerades. We need to help. Let's just do a masquerade party for mental health wellness. Okay, we're going to put the mask on. Then at the end, we're coming off with the mask, and let's just be real.
I like that.
Let's just be real. The real you. Hey, I don't have a house. I don't have a car. I need money. I need something to eat. My children say, the real you. And nobody's there to judge you.
Right.
Then you're going to feel better about yourself.
Yeah. Because you're able to get it out.
Yeah.
And not worry about what nobody else say and nobody think, right?
Right. That's the part. So we always going to connect the dots.
Connect the dots. Okay. I love it. Thank you so much, Dr. John. I appreciate that. That is definitely something that, was needed. It needed to be said. And I like how you said we're going to connect the dots and how you broke that down.
Thank you.
And maybe somebody can take something from that and see, okay, you know what? Let me follow.
Yeah.
This is it connect the dots.
Right.
Or then, another thing is start looking at you. A lot of times we do this, but look at that thumb. When you do this, that thumb
be right
come back on you.
Right.
So we need to step back and say, okay, I'm pointing the finger, but let me look. Sometimes we got to check ourselves.
That's it.
Right.
That's it.
Check ourselves and see what it is I need to do different so that I can improve me. Because again, like I told you before, I'm still working on self, self-healing, because that I want to make sure that physical stay aligned. I don't want to have,
exactly. That's what you got to do. And it's a process,
Right.
It's a healing process goes on and on. You just got to be able to figure out how you going to manage it and how you coping with it, And like I said, that writing my book and telling my story through word without me having to actually say it helped me to come through, breakthrough per se, because I held it and hid it for so long and it was eating me up. It was like when I thought I was going to be able to accomplish this, I had flashbacks from that. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, the blockage is always blockage somewhere, and I'm like, I gotta do something, And if I had, like I said, I go back all the time. If I just had that one person I could have talked to, that I felt comfortable talking to.
So felt comfortable.
That's just make sure we put that
comfortable,
in.
Right?
Felt comfortable. Would I have experienced the breakdowns and the emotional well-being part that just kind of felt like it destroyed me, and it broke my immune system down. So
Wow.
I have what we call Raynaud's, and I have immune disorders, but I don't worry about it because I can manage it
You
now.
can manage it
But
now.
I know how it came about. You
Okay.
see what I'm saying?
Right.
So I'm okay with that. That's life, and I can handle that. But I just know that I recognize how I need to handle it.
Wow. So that's
Recognition.
why you say the physical, because
Yeah.
all you speaking on because this is what you went through.
Yes.
So it
Yes.
makes, yeah.
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 I was broken on all
Wow.
kind of levels. You know what I'm saying? I think about, I've been through so much. I'm like, God, what's that? I've been in tornadoes where my house fell on top of me. I've been in a car accident with the bridge. And me and my family was on the bridge. I was in the hospital for about 6 months.
Wow.
So I lost my memory with the tornado. When you think about all the
Wow.
trauma that you've been through, and you realize, if I had that one person,
Wow.
you got your family and everybody, you okay, blah, blah, blah. But if you had that one person that really you could talk to and just say how you feel and why I feel this way,
Right.
that one person.
That one part with no judgment, because a lot
No
of times,
judging.
because what we do, we will say, it's, oh, you fine? I'm good. I'm
Yeah,
good. I'm
yeah.
okay.
Because I don't
I'm
want to. I
okay.
don't know if I could tell you because I don't know what you're gonna say afterwards.
Exactly.
I,
Right.
I don't know. Is you gonna really be there for me, or you gonna go over there in the group and say, "Hey, look, she couldn't make it. She lost her house. Her husband was out
Yeah.
there, and she,
Yeah.
you be cautious because of the way society have people nowadays.
Yeah.
So now I'm walking up here. Your energy ain't right.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know
I
if I
can't
can really
trust.
trust you. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? So, no, I'm good. And then
Right.
you go back home and
You holding it. You
you're
still
holding
holding
in
it.
because you ain't got nobody
Right.
to talk to.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay. And you don't want to tell your kids everything. And you don't want to,
Because then they start worrying. So you
yeah.
don't want to have them worrying about what you,
uh,
right?
so I'm like, okay, I'm in this room. Okay, okay. But I once you find those people that's in your circle that you really can trust,
Trust.
keep them in your circle. Keep them like just put them in your pocket and don't let them go.
Okay. All
Okay.
right. So, well, thank you so much, Dr. Jai, for just connecting the
We're
dots.
connecting the
We
dots.
connected them dots today, and I appreciate having you here. And I would just like to have you to give one more thing can you go ahead and give our viewers your social media
Okay.
information?
Well, you can find me on all social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok as Dr. Jaja. DrJaiJai. You can find me there. I'm all over.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank you.
so much for being my guest today. I appreciate you again connecting those dots. I would like to just thank you and my viewers for just checking us out today and listening to us connect the dots and let's talk health and wellness with Nitra. Again, thank you so much. Remember to like and subscribe.